Well, I'm looking at curriculum in a different perspective. I'm planning opportunities for my students to practice the 4 C's, like critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. So I'm thinking of different ways to provide opportunities for them to practice that.
Straight A Grant Fund is just such a wonderful idea that has been brought to our district. I use the Chromebook cards every single day in my classroom. When I am working with a small group for guided reading instruction to meet my students' needs, I use the Chromebook to use some sort of leveled activity such as Study Island or MobyMax. I also am doing a text structure projects with it, all sorts of projects. I use park writing every single week with the Chromebooks. It's just wonderful, and I'm very thankful we have the cards.
Being on the core team and getting the professional development that we do, it has allowed us to collaborate with our colleagues and expand our knowledge of project-based learning and best practices. And in terms of the classroom, because of the grant and with those awesome Chromebooks that we have, I'm better able to differentiate for the needs of all of my students and meet them where they're at, and then grow them wherever they might be.
My role as a teacher has definitely changed. I feel that I'm more of a facilitator, helping my kids, and they're teaching me as well as I'm teaching them. So we are doing a lot of collaboration, and I'm walking around and able to do small groups and differentiating much easier.
Well, as a member of the Core Innovation team, we're able to do more hands-on activities. Through the grant, we were able to purchase FOSS kits. We've been using FOSS to help our science instruction. We've been able to go down to the Innovation Learning Zone and use the technology there. The kids have been on Chromebooks. We're using them to make graphs and to share data with others during our science time.
The Straight A Grant has allowed me to reevaluate my instructional planning and practices. I've used Google Classroom with the Chromebooks, and my students have talked about the recycling process. They watched a video of the recycling process, and now they're working on creating a Google slideshow, which they can work on at home or at school to turn into me. And in addition, in reading groups, we've been working with Google Slideshow to have a nonfiction book where they can create different text features and share it with each other and work and collaborate together.
I think that one of the biggest changes I've noticed is I have a lot more focus on interdisciplinary approaches to things. With this project-based learning approach that we're taking in the building, it makes it much more feasible to incorporate several different subjects into one project. For instance, like incorporating math with measurement, and then kids writing about the project that we're doing. This past fall, we did a project where the kids were making houses that they wanted to see if it could withstand the big bad wolf blowing it down. So they made a blueprint and they kind of did a design, and then they tested it out, and then once they were finished, they wrote a how-to that explained to other kids how they created their project. So I think that has been a really big help for me. Additionally, I think that I've worked a lot with collaborating with my colleagues, not just my grade level colleagues, but also grades up and below my grade. Last year I worked on a project with my first grade colleague, and we involved the kindergarten students and we did presentations to them. So I think it's helped my practices in many ways.
The grant has been wonderful for engaging students in technology. We were able to obtain 36 Chromebooks per every 4 classrooms, and our students have been able to access technology on a daily basis, which has been wonderful in terms of differentiation. All the students can get on various websites to be learning at their level during independent work time.
Students are much more engaged when we are working on these activities. They are always on task. It's amazing to me the difference in how they are working when they're engaged in one of these projects and activities, as opposed to just doing the other work that I had done.
My students are definitely more engaged with the new use of Chromebooks. We are using different applications to help remediate and enrich the students through both their reading and through their math.
Well, I think definitely having all of these wonderful pieces of technology provides a good hook for the kids. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of modeling and teaching them how to use these pieces of technology, but it provides a good hook. And then once you have that hook, you can kind of show them all of these different options. There's lots of differentiation available for them, and working at something like this smart table where they can collaborate with each other, and it's really building up their communication skills with each other. And I've noticed that even spilling over into other areas, such as recess time, when they're kind of, you know, explaining to each other maybe a new game that they have created, and I just see their communication skills really growing with all of the practice they've had with these projects.
This grant has an impact on our future because it has allowed us to have some amazing technology just within our classroom, and it's just changing our educational atmosphere. We're able to collaborate and communicate more effectively, and not just within our classroom walls, but it allows us for a global learning experience, which is amazing for our students, and just creates newer and richer learning environments for them.
I see these kids really developing these 21st century skills, this collaboration and communication, which I think at such a low grade level in first grade, I think there are a lot more layers to those skills that I'm seeing come out of these kids. Their cooperation with each other and their ability to get feedback and then turn around and use that feedback to maybe make some improvisations to their work. Also with their adaptability and their ability to take risks. I noticed that they're not so much afraid of failure. So I think that as they learn and grow through each grade level, those skills will just continue to build.
As a teacher, this grant has really impacted the way I'm going to approach teaching in the future. I think that through some of the professional development that we've had exposure to, I've really changed my view on how to look at technology in your classroom. I've learned how to use it to transform what we're doing instead of just using it to enhance what's already happening. And that's really impacted the students, and that's really impacted my outlook as a teacher.
I think we're definitely providing 21st century goals for our students. My students have become more apt to using technology and searching different items when we're doing our research projects. They have been using different formats of Google in our projects that we've been doing, and also like Google Forms to create surveys for the classroom. We're going to use those to help with our data collection also in the classroom.
Well, by having this grant, I'm able to develop the skills that our students will need to move forward in their educational career and professional career by using technology, being exposed to more technology than what there normally would have been if we didn't have the grant. And hopefully this will lead to being well-rounded leaders in our community or workers wherever our students happen to end up in their life.